Was a couple of years ago, I asked a friend from Illinois named Kim if I could share this story that she had posted on Facebook. A friend of hers, a kindergarten teacher, brought an old red dial phone into her classroom and called it the tattle phone. And I'm quoting loosely from Kim's post. Kids were free to take their misunderstandings, their infractions and worries, pick up the phone, and record a message for the teacher to listen to later. Of course, by the time later arrived, the problem had ceased to be a problem. And often the kids had moved on to play with new friends or even the friend that they had had the problem with in the first place. And then Kim says, "Oh, to be 5 again." Well, I want to put Kim's post on hold and come back to it at the end of the video. God's Word commands Christians to speak to one another in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. And according to Ephesians 5, where that's found, these conversations are to be the overflow of a thankful heart filled with songs to the Lord. Our inner dialogue is so filled with love, gratitude, and awe for God that it naturally colors all our speech. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. I think we face two challenges. One, we are as a society schooled and encouraged in the fine art of grumbling. We need to discipline our inner dialogue to line up with God's expectation and not the world's. Our public interactions will never be characterized by praise and gratitude until our hearts are filled with those qualities. And two, if we don't understand what we're called to do, we're not apt to do it. Until I dug into this passage, it sounded unnatural. I wasn't sure how to make it part of my life. Forsooth, how doth I speaketh to thee in a psalm? Well, it's simpler than it sounds, and many of us are already doing it. Here's the definition I found for the biblical word psalm: a story of God's deliverance, or a commemoration of his mercies received. Yes, we can quote the book of Psalms to each other. That's awesome. But I don't know that's all that the Apostle Paul had in mind. I think we're supposed to be talking to each other about God's deliverance in our lives and commemorating his personal mercy that we've received. Well, back to Kim and her story about the tattle phone. At that time, Kim was battling cancer. So listen to how she responded when she learned of the teacher's clever ruse. This is what she said. As I have been mulling this over the last few days, I'm thankful that as a believer we have a ready set of ears to listen to our tattles, our struggles, and anything else that comes our way throughout our days. We don't need to run to a counter to pick up a fake phone. We have a very real God listening, watching, and walking with us all the time. It seems like I always have a continuous and ongoing conversation running through my head with him all the time. And then she puts, never alone. Good job, Kim. Great psalm. We are supposed to speak to one another in psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs, making music in our hearts to the Lord.